Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Master Debatin'. I'm your host, Dan Pisani. Today we're tackling a very important issue. Who had the better year, Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo? Both artists have had a very busy 2021. Rodrigo exploded onto the pop music scene with her album Sour after gaining fame through TikTok. Swift is a veteran of the music scene and released Taylor's version of two very successful albums, Red and Fearless, in an effort to regain control of her discography this year. Now, joining me today to represent each side are two very skilled debaters. To my right on Team Rodrigo, I said a hip, a hop, the hibby to the hip, hip hobby. It's Merab Samad's time to get rockin'. Merab, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. A pleasure being here, for sure.
Thank you. And on my left, at first I was afraid, I was petrified. And then I realized Karina Norman was by my side. Karina, thank you for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I think we should jump right in and talk about some of the accomplishments that both of these artists have had this year. I'm going to start with Merab. Merab, tell me about some of Olivia Rodrigo's accomplishments in 2021.
Well, there's so many in the name. Not one, but not two, but 7 Grammy nominations. 7 at the age of 18. She's the youngest ever person to perform on SNL Live. And also, on top of that, she has over 100 million streams on her hit song Driver's License. Like, she's on the come up. That's undeniable.
Going LeBron James on to start off. Not one, not two. Let's go over to Karina here. What are some of Taylor Swift's accomplishments in 2021?
Of course. So Taylor Swift re-released her first album, Fearless, and she also re-released Red a couple weeks ago, and those have obviously been so successful. She had to re-release them because she doesn't own them. Screw Scooter Braun, that's all I have to say.
And you talk about some things Taylor Swift has done this year. Another thing that she made some news about was she addressed Olivia Rodrigo's success this year. She said on social media, and I want to get this right, this is a quote, "I say, that's my baby, and I'm really proud." What do you think this quote has to do in the context of both of their success in 2021?
Of course. I don't think it's a competition between Olivia and Taylor. I think that Taylor is a mentor for Olivia. You know, when Taylor was young, she had the Dixie Chicks to kind of help her bring her up. So I think it's just a mentorship between the two. I don't think it's any like competition or drama, tea. I don't think it's anything like that.
Rob, do you have anything to say about the social media quote, Taylor calling out Olivia Rodrigo?
Yeah, it was a very nice gesture, but could you also say that it was an act of trying to be relevant still? Like,
oh my God.
It's just like she's trying so hard to stay hip with the kids. Like, you talked about her successes
She's 30.
You talked about her successes in 2021, but aren't those her successes in 2009 at the end of the day?
Wow.
Like, that's what it is. They're re-releases. Okay. Like, yeah.
Okay, Merab.
So clearly Taylor Swift has an influence on Olivia Rodrigo. Mm-hmm. Karina, what do you think Olivia Rodrigo maybe owes to Taylor Swift, you know, for her success this year?
Honestly, Taylor Swift has really shined a light on Olivia, I think. You know, posting that for her and doing all this stuff. Everybody knows that Olivia, this started because Olivia loves Taylor Swift. You have to remember that, Merab. You know, she literally loves her. She is like her favorite artist out there. That's all I have to say. Like, how can you argue that?
God. Like, the thing is, Taylor was great. She's a legend. Mm-hmm. But Olivia had an audience before her music. She was on a Disney show called Bizarre. Like, it's not like she came out of nowhere and Taylor Swift lifted her up from
Who watches the Disney Channel anymore?
Everyone watches the Disney Channel. Tell me who didn't watch the Disney. Yes,
how old are you?
I love the Disney Channel.
All right.
The Disney Channel is a great show. If Disney wants to hire me, I'll send my resume over right now.
Well,
for sure. And that's why that Olivia Rodrigo, she's here.
I didn't even know she was on that show.
Yes.
Like, nobody watches that.
Were you watching it when you were like in college? Like,
no.
It just came out like 5 years ago. Like,
no.
This is why her audience is a younger audience.
And you talk about some of her success recently. Olivia Rodrigo has passed some very big milestones. She's reached over 100 million streams on Spotify. She's had 2 songs debut in the Billboard Top 5. How much do you give that to her success, Merab? Do you give a lot of credit to that? Do you pay attention to things like that?
Yes, of course. Like, she's 18 years old. Think about that. What was I doing at 18 years old? Don't worry about it. But at the end of the day, Olivia Rodrigo has no ceiling. She has no ceiling, and her floor is there, and she's just gonna go up from there. That's the thing. Yes.
We talk a lot about time here. We talk about how Taylor Swift has been around for a while. If we went back in time, Karina, do you think that Olivia Rodrigo and Taylor Swift would be in the same spot right now? Would they be in the same conversation?
I don't think so, because if you go back to, what, 2006, 2009, I wish I was more prepared for this.
2006.
Thank you so much. You know, Taylor Swift was in the country genre. She wasn't even in this like pop genre that she's in. So I think that Rodrigo and her would not be so up against each other.
And going off of that, Merab, which one, Olivia Rodrigo or Taylor Swift, based on this year, is going to have a better 2022 in your opinion?
Isn't it obvious? It's Olivia Rodrigo. She's just
That
gonna.
is so
Taylor
false.
is gonna
That is
keep
so false.
re-releasing her old music till it's old
You know what?
and
And her
dusty.
fans are gonna
That's
keep
it.
listening
Yes,
to
because
it
they're
too.
because they're nostalgia feeling.
Of course.
While Olivia
You're-
Rodrigo actually
you're
makes new
arguing your-
stuff.
you're
She
literally
makes new stuff.
music
That
to my
nostalgic
ears.
feeling means that she's a dinosaur.
proving my point.
Prehistoric.
You're proving my point, Rob.
Bronchosaurus. Yes. Like, oh my God. Like, Taylor is just there to re-release her own music, get that bag, and I
Literally.
respect that.
Oh my God.
Chase
Karina-
the bag.
Karina, how do you feel about 2022? Do you have any predictions for the future for Taylor Swift?
Of course, she's going to be re-releasing 1989.
Oh, re-releasing, re-releasing
Rob,
again.
It's not even that.
Oh my
like,
God.
You don't even pay attention because she has so
Oh,
many new songs from the vault, and if you listen,
From the
if you pay
vault,
attention,
yeah, because it's old songs.
that she's
she's
never
run out of
released.
ideas. It's over.
Staying with
So
Karina here.
not true.
What were you saying about the re-releases? Do you think she's going to continue to re-release songs in 2022?
Yes, of course. She has promised that to her fans, and you know what? I didn't
Why
even
doesn't
mention
she
this
make new
earlier.
songs?
She's already re-released a song from 1989.
Re-release.
You know, Rob, her fans
Everything
listen to
is
it,
a
though.
re-release instead of new
And
music.
they're getting
'Cause she's
Grammy
out of that
noms.
juice.
Let's-
She doesn't got that swag no more. That's the thing.
Let's stay with Karina here and let's talk about some of the re-releases that she has done. Do you think that they still hold up today? I mean, the
course.
10-minute version of All Too Well. I want to hear from Karina right here. What do you think?
Of course. You know what? Fans have known about the 10-minute version of All Too Well for years. And we've wanted it, you know? And we wanted a video. And Taylor delivered. She gave us the 10-minute version. And not only that, but she gave us a music video for it. She listens to her fans.
I mean, yeah, Olivia Rodrigo.
Really quick, Rob, do you have a final argument for us?
All I'm gonna say is Olivia Rodrigo is new, and Taylor Swift is old. Yeah, I think that proves my entire point. And she keeps re-releasing the. I don't think you've heard. I don't think I've heard the word releasing at once in your argument. It's all re-releasing.
Oh my God.
Make some new music, Taylor. Come on.
Karina, very quickly, you have a closing argument.
Of course, I do. I think you're misogynistic saying that Taylor Swift is old. She's literally like in her 30s. Like, why is that old for an artist? You know, there's so many artists out here kicking it, like, that are men, and you're not even like mentioning that. But that's besides the point. So sorry, I got off point.
Is this about anyone
So-
else?
Taylor
Is this
Swift-
about anyone
Taylor
else?
Swift
but
is
gonna
Taylor and
have
Olivia
had a
Rodrigo?
better year.
In
Like,
an effort
oh
to
my
stop
God.
offending every teenage girl in the country, we're going to end right there. That's all for this edition of Master Debate. And after the break, we'll be joined by Central New York Magazine's sexiest man in Cortland, Pete Johans. Don't go anywhere. Master Debate, and we'll be right back.